Hyundai is making no bones about its ambitions to improve its sporting credentials that, it has to be said, are a fair way down the list of things the company has achieved in its first 30 years. Having said that, though, the company is essentially the only mainstream player left in the local market to spend time and money localizing and improving the quality of ride and handling in its cars, and its Korean masters are paying very close attention to the successes of those changes. The brand is set to launch its first range of serious sports machines under the N banner next year, but in the meantime, Hyundai Australia has added another model to its small band of moderately made-over SR models, and the Elantra SR Turbo is being touted as a high watermark when it comes to handling dynamics. Design. The small SR Turbo four-door sedan tops the local Elantra lineup, which now features three cars. The SR Turbo differs from the Active and Elite on the outside thanks to its new front and rear bumpers, side skirts and redesigned front array. Essentially the sedan version of Hyundai's very successful i30, the small four-door Elantra adds more wheelbase and interior room. The HID xenon lights are new for the Elantra, while the LED daytime running lamps have been moved to reside over the top of large, fully functional air intakes on the lower half of the front bar. The integrated boot lid spoiler is a carryover from the regular Elantra. The twin-spoke 17-inch alloys are unique to the car, though, as is the twin-outlet exhaust system. Practicality. Essentially the sedan version of Hyundai's very successful i30, the small four-door Elantra adds more wheelbase and interior room, along with a boot lid. Head and leg room for front seaters is adequate and comfortable, and the pedals are well placed. There is a tall bin between the front seats as well as a pair of cup holders, and USB and 12V charging points. Bottle holders are also present in all four doors. Rear room isn't plentiful for tall occupants, but there's a decent amount of toe and knee room. Rear door access is good, too, and there are two ISOFIX child seat mounts installed on the split-fold rear seats. The boot is 458 liters in volume, though thanks to a new independent suspension arrangement that takes up more room under the rear of the car, the spare is now a space saver and not a full-size unit. The Elantra can also be ordered with a bright red leather interior treatment for just $295 more. It would pay to pick wisely when choosing an exterior color to match with it, but it's an early clue that the Elantra is not all that it seems. There is a cargo net in place on the floor, along with rear seat back flipper switches. It's worth noting that the net on our test car, however, broke free on one of its corners, allowing the cabin bag to be flung around the boot unimpeded. The boot is 458 liters in volume, and the spare is now a space saver. The SR Turbo steps things up a notch, with a pair of more heavily bolstered front seats that feature heating and driver's side power operation, along with a flat-bottom steering wheel with shifter paddles, red detail stitching and a made-over instrument cluster. Not only that, the Elantra can also be ordered with a bright red leather interior treatment for just $295 more. It would pay to pick wisely when choosing an exterior color to match with it, but it's an early clue that the Elantra is not all that it seems. The Elantra SR Turbo kicks off at $28,990 in 6-speed manual form, which is $2,000 on top the previous high-spec automatic Elite. A 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox-equipped SR Turbo is $32,190 before on-road costs. It comes stock with a darkened instrument cluster design, a 10-way power driver's seat, both front seats are heated, automatic lights and wipers, LED taillights, keyless entry with alarm, push-button start, a 7.0-inch multimedia touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and a sunroof. The 7.0-inch multimedia touchscreen comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Metallic paint costs $495, while a set of Pirelli-equipped 18-inch rims will soon be available as an option, according to Hyundai. Engine and transmissions. The SR Turbo uses the 1.6-liter four-cylinder turbocharged GDI engine that's used in the Veloster Turbo, which makes 150 kilowatts at 6,000 RPM and 265 nanometers of torque from 1,500 to 4,500 RPM. That's 38 kilowatts and 73 nanometers up on the 2.0-liter Elantra, where Hyundai's previous SR offerings like the i30 SR have perhaps been a little undercooked. The Elantra SR Turbo has moved the game on for the company. The outputs are the same as the Veloster Turbo, despite the Senior's engine scoring a larger intercooler, bigger single-scroll turbocharger and new electronic turbo wastegate. A 6-speed manual transmission is standard, and the 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox is $2,300 extra. The dual-clutch version of the SR Turbo also scored a 3-mode drive select switch, which sharpens throttle response and gear shifts and firms up the steering feel when switched to sport mode. The SR Turbo uses a 1.6-liter four-cylinder turbocharged GDI engine. Fuel consumption. The manual is rated at 7.7L/100 km on the combined fuel economy cycle, while the dual-clutch version returns 7.2. Our 220 kilometers of high-revving testing in the dual-clutch version saw a dash indicated figure of 9.7L/100 km. Driving. Hyundai is calling the SR Turbo a high-water mark when it comes to its chassis dynamics and handling prowess, and its local tuning team have certainly sweated the details, with more than 50 combinations of shocks, springs and dampers thrown at the car in the course of testing. Where Hyundai's previous SR offerings like the i30 SR have perhaps been a little undercooked, the Elantra SR Turbo has moved the game on for the company. In short, Hyundai is right. It's the best work the team has done to date. It's reasonably firm in its ride around town, but it's more than acceptable thanks to the taller sidewalls of the stock 17-inch tires. Once you lean on the car a bit, though, there's an immediate sense of compliance and connection to the road, thanks to the new independent rear end that will be seen in the i30 next year. The SR Turbo differs from the Active and Elite on the outside thanks to its new front and rear bumpers, side skirts and redesigned front array. The Elantra flows from one bend to the next, with excellent balance front to rear. There's a little bit of body roll built in to keep gripped up, and the stock handgo case, while still a good fit with the package, are the limiting factor when things get heated. The SR Turbo is a nicely balanced package that blends modestly brisk pace with excellent handling dynamics. Larger than stock front brake rotors are still worked pretty hard, such as the ability to carry more speed into and out of bends, and the relatively modest power output is actually sufficient to keep the SR Turbo hustling over the blacktop. The SR Turbo is a nicely balanced package that blends modestly brisk pace with excellent handling dynamics, better brakes, decent steering and a well-behaved driveline. In short, it's a surprisingly entertaining little jigger that brings to mind cars like the old Ford Escort RS 2000. It probably wasn't meant to be as much fun as it turned out to be, and that's not a bad thing at all. Safety. The SR Turbo's safety kit includes rear cross-traffic alert, blind spot detection with lane assist, a rear-view camera, front parking sensors and 6 airbags. It misses out on driver's knee airbags and automatic emergency braking, which do feature on other Hyundai models. The Elantra SR Turbo scores a maximum rating of 5 stars from NCAP. Verdict. The Elantra SR Turbo isn't meant to be this much fun, surely. Despite its modest outputs and relatively demure demeanor, the SR Turbo's dynamic abilities far surpassed our expectations. The SR line's role in Hyundai's lineup is becoming clearer with the advent of the higher performance M line, and that role is to add a bit of sparkle and light to cars that otherwise might not excite the senses. It's a modest outlay over the range top and Elite, but the SR Turbo is the Elantra to aim at, for sure.